Shane Brinkman-Davis Delamore, and this is Code and Optimism. This is a show about solving problems faster with software. I'd like to take this first episode to introduce myself and introduce this show and why I called it Code and Optimism. So just a brief little bit of history about myself. I am a software engineer. I am an entrepreneur. I was one of the lucky kids who had a computer at home in the 80s, an Apple II. That's where I started learning to program as early as the third grade. Fast forward a bit, after high school, I wrote a fully capable 3D rendering engine from scratch and a full real-time 2D GUI to run what I hoped would be a great video game. I never ended up making the video game, but I did make a full 3D rendering engine in the era before GPUs, in the era of Doom and then Quake. And if I had a clue how to make a good game, I would have made a good game at that point. But it was at that point where I became confident in my ability to write any piece of software I set my heart on doing. And as I headed off to college, after 2 years of gap years between high school and college, I quickly realized that I have more software that I want to create, more problems that I want to solve with software than time in the day. And that quickly led to a theme in my career of not only do I want to solve problems with software, but I want to solve them faster. So I spent, after college, the next 10 years working in collaboration with my father, designing a programming language we called DREF. It was a great experiment. It was a graphical programming language. It had lots of good bits to it, but it didn't really come to practical fruition. And then we did Kimmy, which was a startup in the social photography space, starting in the MySpace era. And although it wasn't a financial success, it was a product that touched tens of millions of people. And it is crazy to think that I wrote software that impacted tens of millions of people. And now I'm working at GenUI, which is a great software consultancy, and we love focusing on solving tough problems and accelerating people's roadmaps to get them where they need to go with building the software they need to build to be successful, whether it be anywhere from research to commercialization to internal software. And so that's all very exciting. But what I really want to talk about in this program is a myriad of things, stemming from very practical day-to-day experience with getting software out the door, delivering as much value as possible per unit time, and all the way up to more lofty philosophical goals about the nature of the universe. So that's where I want to transition to talking a little bit about the naming of this program, Code and Optimism. I want to start with a definition for knowledge that I got from David Deutsch. The definition is, knowledge is information with causal power. I really like this definition because it separates it from difficult things like consciousness and self-awareness and other aspects of the human equation to really saying, well, what is it, the information that can cause effects in the universe? Now, whether that information is encoded in DNA or other aspects of information in biology, or if it's encoded in brains, or as a software professional, is it encoded in computers? And that keyword is encoded. In order for information to have causal power, it has to be encoded into the universe in some physical way. That's code. That's where I'm using the term code. I think of code as a good thing, that we, as software engineers, translate ideas and requirements, envision possibilities, and then encode a solution into a physical representation in the universe. Physical, logical, but it is actually physical. Like, it's certain configurations of electrical charges and magnetic fields that encode our solution into the software of a computer. And then we want to have that actually have a causal effect on the universe that is positive, that solves the problem we're trying to solve. So that's where the code comes from. But now the optimism. Why optimism? That's really the interesting part, isn't it? Fundamentally, when it popped into my head, the reason why I liked it is because fundamentally I am an optimistic person. And I want to remind myself and remind every time I come to this show and share stuff with you that problems are solvable. That their optimism isn't just a Pollyannish attitude towards the world. It actually is baked into the nature of the universe. And I'm going to leverage again David Deutsch and his conceptualization of optimism. And his conceptualization is that optimism is not so much about predicting the future, so much as a way of explaining failure. If we look at anything that we failed in the past, with hindsight, we like to say with hindsight, well, what that means is that we, in hindsight, could see how we didn't have enough knowledge to have succeeded. We failed because we did not have enough knowledge. If we had enough knowledge, we could have succeeded. Optimism is about understanding there's nothing in the universe that we can't understand in principle if we gain enough knowledge. Just to say, there are no problems that cannot be solved without enough knowledge. So all problems are solvable with enough knowledge. And that is really the definition of optimism that I want to embody into this program and share with you as I'm talking about the myriad of things. All problems are solvable with enough knowledge. And knowledge is information encoded into the physical universe in some concrete way. And us as software professionals, we are in the business of creating knowledge and encoding it into the physical world with very concrete intentions of solving real world problems for people. And we can solve anything with software ultimately. Ultimately, humans are software. Biology is software. It's all knowledge encoded into a physical substrate that has causal effects on the universe. So with that, I want to thank you very much for spending your valuable time with me. I know that my time is immensely valuable. Your time is immensely valuable. All of our time is immensely valuable. I hope you find this program valuable. And I will leave you with a reminder that all problems are solvable with enough knowledge.